Alright guys, let's get back to Jujutsu Kaisen. Haven't made a video about this game for a while, mainly because I've started playing something else, but don't worry, I'll still be creating contents for this. Just, there's not much going on in the game, so that's kind of why I haven't posted anything recently. But anyway, in today's video, let's do a summoning for Miguel. Now, normally I do the paid summons just to try my luck, but obviously the event is actually going to end, I think, in 2 days' time or 1 day's time. So rather than waiting all the way till end of the banner, I actually want to get him early so that I can get more resources when I actually do my farming, etc. Now I already done a few summons, mainly to get that recollection bit to test it out so that I can say whether it's any good or not and whether it's worth for you guys to try and summon for it. If you haven't seen that video, then do check out on my channel. It's basically when I compare all of the limited recollection to say whether they are actually worth summoning for or not. But yeah, anyway, I'm already almost 60 summons in, but let's see whether we can actually get Miguel. Now, is Miguel a must-have? Definitely not. I think the recollection is kind of borderline, very good to get, but Miguel is definitely not. But I am just personally a bit of like a gacha collector, so I try to collect all of the limited characters regardless whether they're any good or not. Like I even summoned on the SR banners back in the days, to be honest. I shouldn't have done that because they're actually in the SSR banners now. But anyway, let's get back to the Miguel summoning. Yeah, let's see whether we can get it early. I do have some gacha points, by the way. Oh, also, I haven't posted my summons for Domain Gojo or Zone Yuji, and the reason for it is Domain Gojo I actually got very, very early on, and then for Zone Yuji, I was 150 summons in, and I got absolutely shafted, so I just spent 100 pity points in order to actually get a character. So that's kind of why I didn't post anything for those two. But for Miguel, I still have 70 summons, so that I can, 70 pity points, so I can definitely go there if I need to. I think I'm borderline enough to pity on both Sukuna and Miguel, so I'm not actually too worried. But obviously, let's hope, fingers crossed, luck is on our side. Okay, let's start off with Moti. Come on, can we get to a good start? That's Curse Energy, but not Black Flash. So I'm not too hopeful here. Now, in terms of the other SSR, I'm actually missing a lot of SSR. This is my main account, by the way. I'm still missing Hollow Purple Gojo on this account. And I don't have my namesake. I don't have Red Panda on this account either. So either of them, I'll be very happy with, to be honest. That was a Black Flash, so I definitely got something. Recollection, 2 Recollection. Now, I definitely don't mind Recollection on this banner because the Recollection, like I said, is actually very, very good. But no, we didn't get any of them. Never mind. I did some nowhere near max on either of those Recollections, so it's not a bad pool. Okay, so it's Moti in. No Curse Energy whatsoever. But we got Recollection. Can we get lucky here? Nope. I might have this, yeah, I have this max, unfortunately. Okay, I'll have the limited SR Panda max now as well, which is nice. Okay, Force Moti in. Curse Energy, but no Black Flash, which means nothing. Okay. This is a Fist Moti now. Okay, Recollection, come on. Oh, I have this max as well. That's a bit unfortunate. Curse Energy, but no Black Flash. Now I tend to put Recollection a lot, but come on, where's the actual limited Recollection this time around? Okay, Black Flash, nice. Recollection, 2. Oh, this is a good Moti. This is a good Moti. Let's watch this. So I'll go 1 character and 2 Recollection here. Okay, Recollection, come on. Oh, got this again. That's a dupe. Collection. Oh, yes. Nice, not bad. But come on, Miguel. That's Miguel. Yes. Okay, this is actually somewhat early. I think like, let's see how many summons I've done in total. I mean, actually, it's not that early. It's 128. Okay, here's the tricky part now. What am I supposed to do with this? I have a few options. One is I can get a dupe for the recollection, because I do have just about enough. Second option is I can do a few more summons, so that I can then convert it to pity. This is tricky. Okay, I think, to be honest, I don't care about duping recollections in this game, because you do get enough university. I think I'm gonna go down the pity route. I'm definitely gonna convert all of them to pity first, because now this actually means I can now guarantee pity on Sukuna, which is definitely nice. Let me just check. Yeah, I can definitely get at least 6 cards here, and then I might just do. I'm just trying to think whether it's still a good idea afterwards. 8, and I think there's 5 days left on the banner. Yeah, I'll probably just do a few more limited daily summon, and then however many at the end to make it 20 and exchange again. Because I think it's worth it when you're already kind of like almost halfway into enough to get a pity summon. Sorry, pity exchange. But yeah, that's kind of my summon for Miguel. It went well. I hope this is a good preview for how my Sukuna summon is going to go. Okay, now for the last part of this video, I'm just going to do a quick character guide for Miguel. So basically, Miguel has a main gimmick, which is weakening enemy buff, and that's from his skill 3 and skill 4. So pretty much you can ignore skill 1 and skill 2 vast majority of the time. Now, skill 1 basically does nothing other than pure damage, so you just use it when you don't have curse energy. Skill 2 is a self-increasing buff, so if you really want to do it, for example, use Miguel almost as like a DPS, I guess you can, but vast majority of the time, Miguel is more of a utility character, so you probably won't be using this too much. And instead, the utility you'll be going after is more for skill 3. Now, skill 3 is actually very strong attack, mainly because what you are able to do is that you're able to taunt the enemy for 1 turn, and also at the same time, you're able to nullify the attack. So basically, you can almost think of this as, a combination of your taunt recollection plus evade ability from Mahito, which, we all abuse a lot, right? We use that guaranteed evasion and then we taunt enemy, and therefore we nullify all of the enemy attack. So this is essentially an equivalent of that, but the nice thing is you don't even need to apply any recollection to do this. So this is kind of like built-in taunt and attack nullify, and that basically guarantees you're able to evade one single target attack every single turn, which is actually very OP because it only consumes turn curse energy, so you're actually guaranteed to be able to do this. So now if there's ever a stage where there's only like one single target attack by the boss every single turn, Miguel is able to like bypass that stage completely just by himself because he is literally able. Well, he still needs to do the damage, but still, like he is able to essentially evade all of the enemy attack, which is absolutely insane. Now that is obviously nice by itself, but the main thing you're kind of looking for is actually the second half, which is basically decrease the 2 weakable buff on the target by 30%. So basically, whenever you get to stages where the enemy boss have very insane buff, you are then able to reduce that damage and also decrease it by 1 turn. And once again, that can be very useful. A classic example is going to be floor 52 of the Illusory Tower. And that's not the only place where Miguel is able to do that, because Miguel is also able to do this with his ultimate attack. And this one is even better because now it's 3 weakenable buff, which vast majority of the time means all of the buff available on the enemy, and also you're able to reduce by 50% and also reduce the turns by 2. So that's kind of why this is actually very useful for that utility purpose. And then the other half, you are able to do a bit of damage taker increase as well to the enemy, which is not too bad, I guess, because like I said, he is more of a utility character rather than DPS. So it's always nice to have that extra bit of debuff. Let me just check whether that debuff actually increase as we level up. Nope, it's always 25% no matter what. The only thing increases the damage scaling, which basically means for both his skill 3 and also his skill 4, you don't really need to level up much. So basically just get up to level 7 for the ult, level 8 for the normal skills, and that is good enough to go because you're not really expecting to do too much damage with him anyway. And lastly, the passive ability was this. 15% cast technique damage taken decrease, and 20% physical technique increase. Okay, nothing too crazy. But yeah, so that's basically how Miguel is going to work. And I kind of already mentioned this previously. Is he a must summon? Definitely not, because the only gimmick he's gonna have is that kind of weakening buff and this attack nullification. Attack nullification and taunt part, you are able to do that with kind of just, Miwa or Mahito with the right reflection bits as well. So there's definitely nothing crazy about this. And then the second half, Toji is able to do this just as well, and in fact even better, because Toji is actually able to remove the buff altogether rather than only weakening by 30 or 50%. So overall, Miguel is definitely not a must-have character, but he's a limited character, and that's why I decided to summon him.